Buenos días, señores y señoras. There we go. English. All right, today we're going to be upgrading the fuel pump hanger on the 240SX or the S13 here. We're going to go from the old one, kind of grungy. I already removed all the stuff off of it, but we're going to be upgrading to the DeatschWerks X1 hanger, and it's going to look like that. So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to go from that old one to this new one, transferring all the parts over to it. This car still had a working fuel pump in it, and it still has fuel in the tank, so we're going to go through that first. Stick around. The fuel pump works, and there's fuel in the tank, so we're going to have to drain it. We're going to be draining it out of this hose here, since it's after the filter. That way we'll get nice clean fuel if there's anything in the fuel tank. And then we're going to have to open this guy up, get to our relay, which would be this guy. So I'll pull this relay off, and we'll make a little jumper with a switch. That way it's multi-purpose. We can do it to other, if we need to jump another relay or something like that. But let me get this relay off, and then we'll build a little switch with some leads on it. There we go. Now when we look at our relay, we see 3 and 5 is switched. 1 and 2 is our coil. So that we can go into here. You can see 1 and 2. So here's 1, there's 2. So that is our coil. Focus. That is our coil. So we don't care about 1 and 2, but we care about 3 and 5. So we got 3 up here, 5 down here. I got a cheapest switch I could find. It's just a momentary. It's actually 20 amps, so that's good. But it's momentary. That way it doesn't inadvertently stay on. So we'll use that. I got a couple of spade connectors. These are quarter spade connectors. And then I should say these are female. And then we got some males, and then some length of wire, just random wire I had laying around. So we'll strip the ends off of these, hook them up to the connectors, and then we'll keep on going. Here's the idea. We're going to put one of the female ones to the switch, the other one, another female, into here. And then these two ends are going to be what connect into our relay box. So let's take a look at that. So we're going to take these two ends, smash them into here. Just like that. Now whenever we hit our switch, that's going to make our fuel pump turn on. Alright, now let's get power to the car. Got a switch here. Alright, now we got a crank on the car. Try to turn it on. That way it'll relieve any of the pressure in the fuel system. So we got power. Don't hear the fuel pump going. And it looks like we've got a little less than half a tank. So that shouldn't be too bad. I'll just dump it into another vehicle or something like that. I only have I think I have 2-gallon ones. Anyway, let's crank on this thing. And that should be good. And then we will actually leave the key there, so that way our relay panel or relay box is getting power, so that we can control the relay with the switch. What we gotta do is take this fuel line off right here so we can put a longer hose and drain it into a gas container. Alright, this hose I've got is a little slightly bigger than the fuel hose that was in it, so we'll definitely have to put a clamp on it, even though it shouldn't have much pressure because the other end will just be open, but we don't want to make a mess. It ain't going anywhere. Now we'll take this end, dump it into our container here. The moment of truth. So we'll flip our switch. Okay, I can hear the pump going. See if we got any leaks. Don't look like it. Let's run it again. Looks good. See, we're filling up. That way when I let go of the switch, it stops. In case, you know, pass out or something like that. Show you guys the rate that it comes out at. Well, that's pretty good. It's not gas pump fast, but sure beats siphoning. About 2 gallons out of it. Came down quite a bit, so I might have to do that a few times. Try to find my other container. Alright, after getting no more fuel out with the pump, oop, trunk closed. The fuel gauge is on empty and the light's on, so we'll call that good. I'm sure once we pop open the hanger, we'll only have to pull a little bit out. Alright, so I got the hanger out, the fuel pump. You can see there's only a tiny bit of fuel left in there. Shouldn't be a big deal. Didn't record getting it out because there was a lot of frustration with the hoses and a lot of shits and fucks, you know what I'm saying? But this is going to need a little attention because that's got some corrosion in there. And then this O-ring is ripped, so I gotta order me one of those. Alright, I got the whole fuel pump assembly, the hanger and everything out. You can check out the condition of this thing. It's still pretty good shape. A little rusty at the bottom. Our potentiometer doesn't look too bad. Probably clean that up with some contact cleaner or electrical parts cleaner. You can see it's already modified this a long time ago. Okay, so we'll spray this down with some brake clean, clean it up. Then we'll be cutting all these wires off because we got a replacement here. The DeatschWerks hanger, the X1 hanger. Alright, and we'll go into putting all this together. But first, let me go clean this guy up. That way not getting so dirty and we can see the color of the wires and then see the condition and see if there's any nicks so we can repair it. We'll clean this up a little bit just so we can see the wires a little better. We're going to end up cutting them, leaving maybe about an inch just for future, if I sell it, if I keep it or whatever. Probably just going to keep it, you know, forever. But we'll cut them about an inch. And then what's really nice about this DeatschWerks hanger is all of the wiring is basically the same. So our ground, our pump positive, our level indicator, our pump negative, and then our light will be there. So if we look at the back side and we follow all these wires down, so say this one here is the pump positive, or no, sorry, second one is level. So this one here is the level, yellow wire goes to our yellow wire here, and we follow that, and it goes to the potentiometer that tells us the level of the fuel for the gauge. And then this is our light. So whenever we're down low on fuel, about where the sock, the top of the sock is, then that'll go to our light, which is this one. So this little wire here will go there. So we'll cut all these off and then start swapping over all the other parts to the new hanger.
So here.
Cut these. Feels so wrong cutting factory things like this. Hobbies, really. Okay, so there we go. We'll look at this connector real quick and focus. Doesn't look too bad. There's a little dielectric grease in there that we could probably clean up and put some new one in there. So I'll clean all this in here. That way it's good to go, and do the same to the one on the car. And then I'll finish cleaning these up, and then we'll start putting the connectors on them so that we can put it on the new hanger. And then we're going to move on to removing the potentiometer or our level, the sensor here, we're done with this. package this up in a box, some paper or something like that, and save it for some other project or sell it if somebody needs it in a pinch. But more than likely, I'll just hang on to it because, you know, we're hoarders. We just hang on to stuff. Alright, what's nice about this one is that it comes with a whole bracket to mount this onto here, and then it's got a little metal piece here, kind of like an ADOL clamp without the rubber, to hold our signal for our light. And from there, we'll be able to run the wire. Let's see, we should have enough wire here to go from there to up here anywhere. Yeah, that'll be good. This one will sit about there, and we'll see if we can reach. If not, we can always extend the wire a bit. Okay, let's get this little adapter off. And from here, we'll take this one off, which is nice and loose. That is where our hanger is going to go. And then we got to make sure to get this little tab. Okay, that's a tight fit. Okay, don't want to go too tight. So that's done. Obviously that doesn't get in the way. Next thing we'll do is this guy. Go up there. And just squeeze around it. That'll hold it in place. Don't want to over squeeze it, but that's not backing out. That'll stay right where it needs to go. Okay, do that one. And we'll tighten those up. See if we can, yep, we can get to that one. Oh, it's nice and straight through there. This is facing perfectly down by the float. Why isn't this moving smoothly? Oh, it's rubbing right here. This doesn't let this move smoothly, so it could hang up there and tell you got more fuel than you don't. So let's move this whole thing back again. Actually, I'll just do it off camera here. Alright, so what's happening, let me zoom in, is this arm for the potentiometer protrudes just a little bit, and it's hitting this casing, and so it'll cause that to kind of hang up a little bit. It should move a lot more free than that. So we got a couple options we could do. We can grind away a little bit there, or we can add washers behind this, but I'm kind of leaning towards just taking a little material off of here so that doesn't get in the way, because I've got this shifted all the way back and it's still touching there. So let me take it off, and then, or let me mark it right there to tell us where to remove a little material. So right there, and then we'll put it back on. Alright, so I've got it removed. You could see kind of where it was hitting before, so I'm just going to take a half round file and file that area a little bit. Alright, it ended up taking a little more out of it, but you can see there, that's how much I took out there. And now it clears. You can see, it's hard to see it on here, but there's just a tiny bit of daylight showing through it. But now this doesn't have any issues, and this is nice and straight. It's kind of lined up with this line here on the bracket. So I'm going to call that good. I'm happy with it, is what I'm saying. After removing that little bit of material there, I'm not sure if, because I didn't want to bend this out or do anything with it. I want to keep it as straight as possible. And then these are now tightened down. So good to go. Now we can start running our pump and our wires and everything up to the top. Alright, so this hanger comes with everything you need, really. Hopefully. I say that now. Comes with our return tube, clamp, all these other parts. Save that for later. Some fuel line, all our clamps and our electrical connectors, a new sock, which we'll be using because I'm not going to use the old one. Some hardware for the top hat, and then some zip ties and all our AN fittings. I will not be using the barb fittings because you can use the barb fittings on here, but we're gonna go AN. Okay, the whole thing AN. That'll be the way to go. And let me show you the pump I got to replace it. So again, from DeatschWerks, and in here we've got our pump. This is a DW200. Then we get a sweet sticker. Nice. Save that. Get more fuel hose. We get the connector. Nice heavy wire. And another sock and a clamp. So we'll see which one we use. It looks like actually we'll be using this one, not this one. Then the bottom clip to retain the pump, and another clamp. So let's get this situated, get this opened up, and start hooking it up. This one needs to go to the level plus. They don't reach. Okay, even if I go back behind here, it doesn't reach. So I'm going to have to extend this wire. This one, however, goes to our light. That one reaches just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and extend this wire just a little further. And again, that was my choice because I wanted to leave wire on that other one. And I don't want to run this one anywhere else because it could interfere with the arm there. So I'll extend this wire and then we'll hook it up into there. I found some wire, similar gauge, pretty close. We're going to put these two together and then we'll put our eyelet. A bunch of different sizes, 3 different sizes of these eyelets. So we've got a big one, a medium one, and a small one. Make sure to use a small one there. Then I'm going to use one of these connectors that has the solder ring in the center there. We'll just slide that into there. Once you heat these up all the way, you'll see the solder spread all the way around. And then these little white rings melt and seal up the wire. You get a nice solid connection there. And then, so this one is the level. So we're going to level plus. That's going to go right there. So we'll take this nut out. We'll do the same to the other one. There we are. Just like that. Not too tight. Just keeps them out of the way. We'll just trim this off. Good to go. Thing is, we got to start putting in our fittings. So we got to put these O-rings onto here. That'll seal up in there. Perfect. Okay, should go right about there. Then we're going to thread that into here. You'll see the O-ring is now in the recessed area all the way around. Same thing to the other one. All right, then we'll put our bulkhead nuts on. This will just keep them from rotating. I'm not going to tighten it till I get it in the car so I know that these are facing the way I want them to. Next, we'll start putting in our pump. So for our pump, we got a little cap we got to remove. There's our pickup. And we've got this sock that came with the pump. We're going to use that one. We'll put a little grease on it to ease everything. Always got to lube up. Okay, and there's a little notch here for this hole. That's going to go right there. There we go, clipped right in. And then these come with a little tiny star ring, star washer. So that's going to go on there, just like that. Oh, we're getting there. You just got to get the back side. There we go. That'll do good. That way this doesn't come off. All right, that's done. Now I got to move on to here. Take that off. That's our outlet. Start putting our hose. So that's our feed. And we'll make sure we're at the bottom here. All right, once you got your clamps on tight, next thing is to do the clamp. So it comes with a clamp. That's what retains the pump onto here so it don't wiggle around. There's little cutouts here, and on the other side that's where it's gonna kind of route through so it doesn't go up and down. So we'll feed that in. Once you get the clamp on and tightened up, then you're good to go. Your pump's not going anywhere. Bottom's nice and open here. It's good to go. Now we're going to move on to the return tube. There's a couple of holes here. That's where you'll put some zip ties to hold that on. We'll show you that here. So we'll slide this tube onto here. Like that. And then we'll take one of these clamp, cinch type clamps. See if I can get it through here. Yep. Come up here and we're going to cinch that on by squeezing it. They've included a couple zip ties. So we'll feed that through. Clamp that on. There we go. That worked. There we go. Next thing to do is the pigtail and then wire it up to the terminals. So this one's going to here. Mark it there. And this one's coming here. Connectors are on. Shrink wrap. Now we'll just hook them up to their posts. The black is going to the pump sad one, and then positive going to pump plus. And then all we got to do is when we get in the car, we'll do this. But this is it right here, fully complete. We got everything, all the stock components on it, and it's good to go. I did talk to DeatschWerks at SEMA and asked them why they just used a clamp, right? And they said it was cheap, or it was affordable, really. Affordable way to do it. If they start incorporating other things that'll hold these differently, then you start running into a expense, a more cost. And they also said that some people have put 2 pumps in here. So I don't know, they sell one for 2, so pretty affordable actually. Not that expensive. The next video I'll probably do install it and doing the wiring on the car, and then starting to do the lines. That way we can go one step at a time, but at least now we got this out of the way. If you got any comments or anything like that, leave them down in the description. Please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, making sure that the algorithm is getting to the right people, to the right viewers, really, whoever's searching for this. That's all I got. Take it easy.